Genemo.
ከውድድሩ መጀመር አስቀድሞ በነበሩ ዳሰሳዎች አትሌት ውድድሩን አሸንፋ አንደኛ ሆና የማራቶኑን ወርቅ ትወስዳለች ብሎ የገመተ አንድም የለም። ለዚህም ነበረ በሲንጋፖር አትሌቶች ሲተዋወቁና ታላላቅ የሚባሉ ኤሊት ተካፋዮች ወደ ዝርዝሩ ሲጠሩ የዚች አትሌት ስም አልነበረም። እናም በመጨረሻው ሰዓት አብረዋት ለረጅም ኪሎሜትሮች ትከሻዋ ስር ሲተነፍሱ የነበሩ ጠንካራ ኬንያውያን አትሌቶችን ከኋላ አስከትላ እሷ ግን ከፊት ሆና ቀዳሚ ሆና ስትገባ ብዙዎች በመገረም ነበረ የተመለከቷት። ተመልከቱ፣ ይህ ውድድር ሲጀመር አንድም ሰው ይህችን አትሌት ልብ ያላት አልነበረም። በውድድሩ ከሚካፈሉ አትሌቶች መካከል የቀድሞ አሸናፊዎችና ትልልቅ አሸናፊነት ግምት የተሰጣቸው ኬንያውያን ከፍተኛ የሆነ የመገናኛ ብዙሃን ሽፋን ቢያገኙም ሹቆ ገነሞን ግን እዚህ ግቢ ብሎ የተመለከታት አልነበረም። ነገር ግን ከ42 ኪሎ ሜትሮች እጅግ አሰልቺና አድካሚ እልህ አስጨራሽ ትግል በኋላ እቺ አትሌት በሌሊት ሮጣ በጠዋቱ አሸናፊ ሆና መግባት ችላለች። ይህ ሌሊት ተጀምሮ ልክ ሊነጋ ሲል ፀሐይ ልትወጣ ስትል የተጠናቀቀው የሲንጋፖር ማራቶን ነው። በ2025 አሸናፊ ሆና ያጠናቀቀችው ደግሞ ኢትዮጵያዊቷ አትሌት ሹቆ ገነሞ ናት። 2 ሰዓት ከ41 የፈጀ እጅግ አድካሚና አታካች የሲንጋፖር ማራቶንን በሌሊቱ ታላቅ የሚባል ድል ለኢትዮጵያውያን አብስራለች። የተወደዳችሁ የኢትዮ አትሌቲክስ ተከታታዮች ለዛሬ የ2025 የሲንጋፖር ማራቶን የኢትዮጵያዊቷን የሹቆ ገነሞን አስገራሚ ድል ይዘንላችሁ መተናል። ላይክ፣ ሼር፣ ኮሜንት በማድረግ ይህንን ቪዲዮ ተከታተሉ። ለብዙ ሰዎችም እንዲደርስ አግዙን። ሰብስክራይብ በማድረግ ቤተሰባችን መሆኑን እንዳትዘነጉ። የስታንዳርድ ቻርተርድ ሲንጋፖር ማራቶን እስያ ውስጥ ከሚዘጋጁ ታላላቅ የማራቶን ውድድሮች መካከል አንደኛው ነው። በወርልድ አትሌቲክስ የወርቅ ደረጃ የተሰጠው ይህ ማራቶን በርካታ ኢትዮጵያውያን አትሌቶች ከዚህ ቀደም በአሸናፊነት ተወጥተውበታል። ለምሳሌ 2001 በፈረንጆቹ የወንዶቹን ታደሰ ኃይለማርያም የሴቶቹን ደግሞ ወርቅነሽ ቶላ አሸናፊ ነበሩ። ደግሞ በ2007 ኢትዮጵያዊቷ ዓለም አሸብር በድል አጠናቀዋለች። ዋጋነሽ አማረ 2014 ላይ በድል የቋጨችው ሲሆን ፋንቱ ዘውዴ ደግሞ 2024 ላይ የነበረውን በድል አጠናቃለች። በጥቅሉ ኢትዮጵያውያን አትሌቶች 4 ሴቶች በዚህ ውድድር አሸናፊ ሆነው ከዚህ ቀደም ማጠናቀቅ ችለዋል። ተመልከቱ፣ የዘንድሮ ውድድር ሲዘጋጅ የከተማዋን እጅግ ሞቃት የሆነ የአየር ንብረት ለመቋቋምና ወበቁንም ቢሆን ለማምለጥ በሚል የሲንጋፖር ማራቶን አዘጋጆች ውድድሩን በእኩለ ሌሊት በውድቅት ምሽት ነው የሚያደርጉት። ከዚያ በኋላ ለረጅም ሰዓታት የሮጡት አትሌቶች ጠዋት ላይ ልክ ሲነጋጋ ከማለዳዋ ፀሐይ ጋር በድል ይገናኛሉ። ይህንን ደግሞ ያደረገችው በዚህ ዓመት አሸናፊ ሆና የጨረሰችው ኢትዮጵያዊቷ ሹቆ ገነሞ ናት። ሹቆ ገነሞ ለረጅም ዓመታት በአትሌቲክስ ስፖርት ላይ ህይወቷን ያሳለፈች ሴት ናት። 30 ዓመት ላይ እንደምትገኝ ወርልድ አትሌቲክስ ስለ አትሌቷ ባስቀመጠው ፕሮፋይል ያስነብባል። ከፈረንጆቹ 2011 ጀምሮ በአትሌቲክስ ውድድር ተካፍላለች። በኢትዮጵያ ሻምፒዮና 2011 የገባችበት የ1500 ሜትር 4 ደቂቃ ከ42 ሰከንድ ከ45 የዚች አትሌት ዝርዝር ላይ በቅድሚያ የሰፈረ ነው። አትሌቷ ከ1500 ሜትር አንስቶ እስከ ማራቶን ድረስ መሮጥ ትችላለች። በግማሽ ማራቶን ከዚህ ቀደም ኪየቭ ላይ የገባችበት በዩክሬን 1 ሰዓት ከ10 ደቂቃ ከ54 የግል ምርጥ ሰዓቷ ነው። ስፔን ባርሴሎና ላይ ደግሞ በማራቶን የግል ፈጣን ሰዓቷን 2 ሰዓት ከ21 ከ35 ማስመዝገብ የቻለች ናት። በትልልቅ ዓለም አቀፍ መድረኮች ከዚህ ቀደም ስትወዳደር አይተናታል። በዚህ በፈረንጆቹ 2025 እንኳ በላንዡ ማራቶን ቻይና ላይ 4ኛ ሆና አጠናቃለች። 2024 የፈረንጆችን ዓመት በሁለት ውድድሮች ላይ ተካፍላለች። ጀርመን በነበረ የፍራንክፈርት ማራቶን 3ኛ ሆና የጨረሰች ሲሆን በስፔን ባርሴሎና ደግሞ ሁለተኛ ሆና ማጠናቀቅ ችላለች። 2023 የፈረንጆች ዓመትን በቻይና ቼንግዱ ማራቶን ላይ ሁለተኛ ሆና መቋጨት የቻለች አትሌት ናት። 2019 በነበሩ ውድድሮች ደግሞ ካናዳ በነበረው ውድድር ሰባተኛ፣ በዩክሬን ደግሞ በግማሽ ማራቶን ሁለተኛ ሆና ጨርሳለች። እንግዲህ ለረጅም ዓመታት በፖዲየም ወይንም የደረጃ ሰንጠረዥ ውስጥ መግባት የምትችለው አትሌት አሸናፊ ሆና ለማጠናቀቅ ግን ብዙ ዓመታትን ፈጅቶባታል። በመጨረሻም በ2025 በሲንጋፖር ማራቶን አንደኛ ሆና ውድድሯን መጨረስ ችላለች።
She's been around a very successful career. She was 6th at 2012 Olympics set. So, really good successful career at track running and cross country. She was fourth at the World Champs in 2013 and 2015 on the track, and 7th at the World Cross Country Championships as well. Has made a step up to the marathon. Has PB at 2:20:57. Has struggled a bit though to convert over the marathon. But I think she should be one to watch as well today. Actually paced her at Sydney Marathon a few years ago for the first 32k, so it was my job to take the lead women through at a certain pace. I'm not sure if she'll remember me. Did my job pretty well, I thought, but yeah, we spent 32k together a couple of years ago.
I mean, we're not too far from the finish line. You can pop down and see if she remembers you. So we do see a bit of a distance now between the men and the women, despite the fact they all flagged off at the same time, because the men are in their shorts as well, so they've got that independently of the hydration station.
Yeah, so they were people carrying their gels. So I'm not sure how many of you can see here going through this. So this is that you can see different colour tables, which is great as well. So they've got a colour to identify too. But yeah, sometimes you're really slow and do a bit of a walk there to get it, and then get a lot of confusion at the back of their head. But if you miss this, that can be really bad later on in the race, because you're relying on those carbohydrates and that hydration in those drink bottles there. And if you don't get them, all of a sudden that's X amount of carbs you've just missed, which can come back and hurt you in the final 10k.
And how much would you want to down everything that's in the bottle? Because you don't want to run with these bottles for too long.
Yeah, but then you don't want to take it on too quickly as well to kind of upset your stomach. So it's that balance between dipping away on it. And you can see these ladies, they've relaxed the pace here, so which is good. Off the front though, that lady doesn't have a nib on at the moment, so we'll do our best to try to identify who that is. Adidas athlete, obviously, but she hasn't got a drink bottle, and she's going to put the foot down a bit, which just being sure these guys
to the course a little bit earlier on this morning, we had volunteers just showing exactly where you can drive, where you can't drive, and instructing those who are turning up to take their places either at the F1 pit building or just to cheer on the athletes at the side. So here's a look at the elite women's split after 5 kilometres.
Yeah, so as we said, they look a lot more comfortable, so 19:26, so just a bit under 4-minute K pace, which spoke about Shalima. Her marathon pace is 3:19 pace, so she's cruising at this pace. As we said, she's got to deal with the weather, but this should be very comfortable for all the ladies in this lead pack here.
And that is our defending champion, who is currently at the top of the standings there as well. Muscle glycogen, which is going to be so important towards the latter stages.
Spot on. That's your fuel. That's what you need. So the faster you run, the more you're burning. So you want to make sure A, your muscles are loaded as you're standing on the start line ready to come in, and B, as you're going, you're topping them up, be able to use that. It's that last 10k that everyone speaks about. The last 10k is as hard as the first 32k. It's where the real half marathon split should be. And yeah, you need all those carbs you can get for the last 10k of the race.
You mentioned this non-personalized hydration station. So as you mentioned, a lot of the runners not even taking them, because it is pretty hard to down at that speed.
Yeah, and the pace you can see stays on us through those ones, whereas they'll slow it down for those personalised ones, because those ones are so much more important to hit those drinks, whereas this one it's like, there's another option, you grab one if you want. I think as the race progresses, you'll see more and more of the ladies and the men go to those drink stations, just for more cooling effect to chuck it over their heads.
How thirsty do you get in a race like this? Obviously, with the personalized drinks, a lot of it is about carbohydrates and electrolyte replacing. But, you know, when I'm running, you start to get a little bit dry.
Shoes, and you're right, maybe a GPS watch, but it's something for the whole family. Like, you could literally have the whole family doing a different event over the weekend. And I always think, like, which future Singapore marathon star had their very first race here at the kids' race yesterday? So it's like it's the start of a lot of stuff for a lot of people.
I love that. You mentioned the Singapore athletes, actually. Of course, their focus is on the national championships and the full marathon right here, right now. But in a couple of days' time, they'll be flying off to Bangkok in Thailand for the Southeast Asian Games, the 33rd edition. And this will be great preparation because Thailand, pretty much the same climate as here in Singapore.
Yeah, I ran with Shuko yesterday morning. He gave me a bit of a tour around some of the course. And he's off there for 5 and the 10K. And didn't want to race this close to the SEA Games. So we're seeing some athletes will race beforehand. Some won't. They'll kind of keep their legs fresh to go next week and the week after that. And he's more of that kind of middle distance as well. So half marathon and marathon. For him leading in wouldn't be ideal. Whereas some of these guys, it's a great way to get a national championship and some confidence leading into that.
Yeah, the Southeast Asian Games take place every 2 years as opposed to...
Lead and the kind of chase pack, or also people who are dropping off at this stage. I don't expect people to come back and come over the top of this lead pack, but it'd be interesting to see how many people are in that shot over the day that just continue to drop off the race as it goes. A few hills through here, Ed, like just some rolling hills.
Yeah, a bit of a downhill here. How would you take this? Would you keep the same pace as you had previously, or try and use that momentum to carry yourself down?
Yeah, well, it looks like Chalimo's done that, but she's gone to the front, and she's the only one that I've noticed so far that's looking at her watch. So she may have some instructions from her coach or her manager to run a certain pace, and she's looked at her watch a couple of times, hit there aggressive at the start of the race, then she tucked in, and now she's gone to the front again. And the Wude is not now at the back, she's more in the middle, in the yellow kind of bottom of the singlet there.
Yeah.
So she's not have a good day, so they've put the brakes on a bit through there.
And Sharon Chalimo, who we heard from at the very start of the race, is leading the first pack of the women's elite.
Yeah, and as the fastest in the field, there's sometimes that pressure on you, and you know, there's ladies here that she's 5, 6, 7 minutes quicker than. She probably wants to prove that, hey, if you want to stay with a sub 220 lady, you're gonna have to keep up with me from early on in the race.
I love how at every point of this race you can hear people cheering. As I mentioned earlier on, it is very early, but it's very heartwarming to see some people turning up to support the runners. Sharon Chalimo, as you mentioned, the only sub-220 woman in the field. PB set this year when she won Barcelona. And amongst all the...
Participate to get the finishing medal. It's like, no, we're going there to compete, to finish as high as we possibly can.
Yeah, the Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon, the region's only World Athletics Gold Label event. Just explain exactly what that means.
Yeah, so they'll have to tick off certain criteria for their Gold Label event, which will be stuff around prize money. So we've got $50,000 US for the winners today. It pays down pretty deep as well. We'll get some of those details to you a bit later on as the race goes. They would have agreements in place for this live stream.
In the city, quite hard to get your GPS working as well with all the tall buildings.
So one of these guys will probably just be looking at the K markers on course, and they won't have their GPS data. They might even have it turned off, but they'll be just looking at what the K markers on course are showing, and then have the time the race has been running on their watch, and they will know their split. So those guys would have known that, hey, when they ran through 15:50 and saw that 5K one, that was maybe a bit too quick and they had to slow things down. And I'd say Chalimo off the front here at the women's race is similar. She's probably looked at that first 5K split and thought, oh, that's 19:26. When she runs her PBs, she goes through at 16:40. So she's nearly 3 minutes slower than her, more prepared than others out here. So that 9%, 8.8% is a kind of generic number, but it could be 4% for other people, it might be 12% for other people, like depending on how well you adapt to these heat hot conditions.
Yeah, of course, the national runners will be used to this heat. The African runners in the field will also be used to this kind of heat as well. I was going to say your man Frugal might not be, but running in Arizona, that is a pretty hot part of the US.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot in Portugal as well, get some warmer training in, and that's where you see, we saw it in the lead up to the Paris and Tokyo, like athletes going to these kind of locations in the lead up. You might see them in tracksuits leading in, use of saunas, hot baths. There's a lot of science around there saying how important that is now to be able to improve. I'm pretty sure off the motorbike you can hear people talking here.
Yeah.
They're like second and third there, bit of a chat, which just if Chalimo's still off the front here, they might be discussing like, hey, do we make a move to try to close that gap or not? So yeah, 55 minutes in, cruising enough that you can still talk.
We were perhaps expecting to see some of the men's national championship runners at the back of the women's elite group. We haven't seen any of them so far.
Yeah, and I think they would have been looking at each other off the first K, because this is the race for them, so they won't be too concerned with times, but they're looking at that Singapore separate prize money. And I know yesterday, like, it was just a matter of Ru Yong just being like, he wants to win this race. So if he has to run 2 hours 35, he might have to. If he has to run 2 hours 55, it's the same result for him. That gets the win, he gets a national championship, 2 in 1 weekend, he gets the prize money.
So we're coming up to the hour mark, 6 minutes on the clock, and the women are currently making their way down Gardens by the Bay East, and then they're going to be heading towards East Coast Park Connector, and that should be a little bit more breezy and slightly cooler. I do say slightly, it's never Singapore. Service road, and then they'll be making that U-turn at Laguna Flyover, retracing their route back towards Marina East Drive, across the Marina Barrage, and returning to Gardens by the Bay South. So we're coming up to 6 a.m. local time. We expect the sun to be rising in about half an hour or so.
The first time I've seen Chalimo there, bib number 27 at the back. It's just trying out all the positions there. Bit of the front, bit of the middle, bit of the back.
I mean, this is, I guess, the segment of the race where you can experiment a little bit, because this isn't going to be the final breakaway yet.
No, yeah, so as we saw at the end, like, stretch the legs out, see how different pace feels. It's a harder way to race like that, though, with that surge on and off. So these ladies are doing it very well here. It seems like a consistent pace. They're sticking together. The longer this race goes, though, the more edgy people will get, because it's too big of a pack for this stage of the race. They want to start getting rid of numbers. When they're thinking about that top 8 prize money, they start thinking about podiums. This U-turn's significant because it goes, all right, that part of the course is done now. I'm on my way back in to hit the business end of the race.
It's tight as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
they almost
stop to a walk. Yeah. And when you've been running at a certain pace for an hour and 30 minutes, all of a sudden stopping and starting like that can be hard. And you can see that the group's kind of sprung out a bit like a violin try to leave, I'm sure.
No, you'll notice that when you arrive at Changi Airport and Changi Jewel, and you have the greenery in the airport, then once you get out of the airport, you take the ECP or you take the PIE, there are just trees and flowers lining the entire route from the airport as well.
Yeah, beautiful way as your first introduction to a city.
So this is the leading women's group, still very bunched up at this point.
It is, yeah. This is going to be a really tactical race. We've got to see a move soon, Ed, I think. Yeah, because there's a lot of people to go into 3 for a podium here.
Yes. And as you mentioned, they're going to be talking to each other. There'll be friends there. There'll be members of the same running team or members of the same training team as well. At some point, will they sacrifice their own spot for the good of their teammate, or if they're thinking, you know what, I don't have the podium pace, but I will.
Oh, and now move for women's as well. That's not as big as the pack as we've seen through the whole race, so and over a time out there as well, so we'll get that split to you as soon as possible. But Chalimo's still there, Jepkorir, and the defending champ.
Yes, that's 30-kilometre point for the women. So there's a chasing pack of 3 there as well behind the lead pack.
Kitty Watch just off the back there in orange.
Well, this is where you will enter the financial district if you are driving. So the women's split's coming up after 30 kilometres.
Genemo up front there, 1:58.34. Nui, Arosho, Chepkoech, the wide age of bar, the defending champion. This is the closest we've seen her to the front of the race the whole time. Getting close to 2 hours in. They've got 40 more minutes of running to go. But I expect the last 40 minutes is probably going to be quicker than the first 40 minutes of this race for these ladies. They were pretty patient off the start line. Now we're starting to see cream rise to the top.
Yeah, we've got the number 32 there in the navy beard with Duratu Hailu, who's currently running it.
We're about 2 minutes behind the lead female, so if they do kick it down, we might be able to hopefully get some footage of them, or we can expect them coming in for the finishing shoot at a pretty similar time.
So these are the women then exiting Marina Barrage. So
David, something obviously went wrong. It was good that he got to the finish line, but that doesn't reflect what he's doing to this field right now.
And just goes to show how much experience can pay in a race like this, where the conditions are so different.
Yeah, and that's why it was my favourite going in. He's proven in this condition, in these conditions on this course. It's great to see someone implement the race he has too, where he was patient, and then from 30k onwards, it's just been really turning screws.
So the women are making their way towards the financial...
Which is extremely hard to do in a gold label race because it attracts so many elite runners. So he can do this today. It's looking like he can. Hats off to him. And we're starting to see Rodah in the lead here through the drink station.
It's interesting to see, though, isn't it, the difference between the men and the women in terms of the men breaking up a lot earlier on and the women staying together in quite a large group for so long of the marathon.
It'd have to be at least 8, maybe 7 in this lead pack. And all the main players, like we haven't lost anyone of note at this stage of the race, so...
Genemo there in the front in the...
pace, they've run through 15, so we'll work on trying to get some splits. I'd love to know what that last half marathon was in, because they have picked it home with a massive negative split, which is why we saw the pack go from 15 guys to 3 guys to 1 guy. And I think that's the way you've got to run this weather. Instead of doing it the other way around, it's going to be a much more enjoyable way to finish this race. The women have just gone through 35k here. Genemo, Rodah Jepkorir, defending champion, Jafar, and Chepkoech. There's more in that Chibi what to do there as well. The orange singlet. This is going to be an exciting race with this many people to go. 7k left in the race. See the crowd getting around them there.
Yeah, they can see the timing clock there, courtesy of Seiko. 2:18.10 they're looking at the moment. And this is going to be I was going to say a sprint to the finish, not quite. But they're going at such a fantastic pace that it's going to be tough to find our 3 podium sitters breaking away from the rest with such a distance as they did in the men's side of things.
Yeah, we've got a real race on our hands. This is going to be exciting for the viewers at home, the people on the streets out there in Singapore, because there's some people with some fast PBs, but there's also some people with track history who they're used to that last 400 metre, the last 200 metre sprint of an athletics track. We might see a really big finish here on the streets of Singapore as they hit that blue carpet. But 7k still, we're still looking at a bit over 20 minutes. So a lot can happen in the last 20 minutes, which is what we saw in the race.
Yeah, our lead group's still very bunched together as we head towards the part of the financial district that will turn towards the Fullerton Hotel very shortly. So it's a lead group of 8. Running very wide. We do see a number of runners putting their hand down to their side. Is that an indicator to other runners, or is that just...
Yeah, sometimes we'll just do like flush your arms out to kind of give them a bit of a break, but most times it's just to say like, this is my space. Like if people get a bit close to them, it's like, this is my line, where I want my space to be. Please don't kind of come into my area. Or often when you're running a tight group like this as well, you might get checked, but someone might just give you a little nick on the back of your heels as you're running. You might put your arm out and just be like, hey, like, watch out, this is my space in this race. And Shalima, like, she was the one who put her arm out there on the far left. She's got plenty of space there, so it makes me think it's more just to flush the arms out, give them a bit of a shake.
Yeah, I mean, they've run 36 kilometers. They've got a lot of things to shake out, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So here we go then. We're ending the straight bit of Robinson Road before they turn the corner. And nobody's really taken the initiative at this point to break away, although I say that. No, but still very much they group together. At some point, somebody's going to have to decide, you know what, this is on me. I'm going to break away, and we'll see if anyone can catch up.
Yeah, one of these ladies will get $1,000, another one will get $50,000. It's 8 going into 8 prize money, and there's still all back to drink at the 35k mark shows the importance there. But that would be a perfect, if you're feeling really good, this would be the perfect stage to be like, hey, I'm just going to put in a really quick 200, 300 metres to break this group back a bit. So I think she went back for the drink there.
Yeah, that was Genemo who went back for the drink, but she's done well to
didn't come back with a drink bottle. So
All right, let's get down to the finish line. Kelly Latimer is there standing by, and she is with Mr. Patrick Lee, CEO of Singapore and ASEAN Standard Chartered. Thank you to Kelly Latimer with Mr. Patrick Lee, CEO of Singapore and ASEAN Standard Chartered. So we've seen the tape being reorganized and put back in place at the finish line. We expect three women across the finish line very shortly. And in fact, the break.
Yeah, this is a significant move. We set the defending champ no longer in this lead pack. So Zawade no longer can be cited there. Chelimo is also busy. Got that Kibiwat there in orange as well, next to Chelimo, bib number 27. So two of the fastest ladies in the field have been dropped. It looks like it's a group of 4. So there's been a move in the last couple of minutes, which we were expecting. We were talking about, how long do they wait? And it looks like the move's been made. And similar to the men's race, 4 in the breakout here with Jepkorir kind of leading the pack there on the left. Genemo on the far right, Chepkoech.
And it was at this point in the race for the men's where 4 became 3, but at this point it looks like all 4 are managing to keep up with each other. Yeah,
they all look very smooth there. Abdikar and also the one behind Jepkorir there. So, but it must have been, although they look comfortable, you'd expect that there was a significant change in pace for it to go from, I think it was 8 even when we saw them last time. So 8, we've got footage of 2 off the back there, but there's probably also another 2 or 3 who have been dropped even back before that.
And Genemo is the one who dropped her water bottle at the final hydration station. So to be able to loop back around, very impressive indeed.
And out of these 4, Jepkorir is probably the one who would be on the front the most throughout the early stages. And the race now changes with the light. All of a sudden, the sun's up and you don't have to worry about the lighting to light the course anymore. See the head checks there as well, just checking that, hey, put those 2 other ladies behind us. Now this is race 4.
Yeah, so 2:28 on the clock, and these are the 5th and 6th place runners as it stands.
Yeah, this is Kibiwat here on the left, and Chelimo. So this is quality. I'm talking about a 2:19 lady and a 2:20 lady who have been dropped off the pace here. So as we said earlier on, it's called not about fast PBs in Singapore, it's about how you can handle the conditions. Because these ladies in this lead pack closer to that kind of 2:24 personal best. And they get a great look at them here on the out and back to see the gaps, so they don't have to worry about those head checks. And now this is a run for home now, where we spoke about when we looked at the course map pre-race. That's the turn you want to make to know now you're heading in the right direction towards the finish line.
Yeah, Sharon Chelimo finished 5th here last year with a time of 2:40, and it looks like she's probably on course to finish 5th again, or maybe 6th.
Yeah, still a bit under 4K to go, so we're expecting them pretty close to that 2:43, 2:44. They would have increased the pace though with these moves in the second half of the race. But it looks like it's almost a lock for there's a pack of 4 and there's a pack of 2 at this stage of the race.
Yes, they've done the U-turn at Keppel Road, so they're now heading back towards Anston Road, and then they'll continue down Robinson Road, passing Polly Key, Fullerton Road, and then onto the Fullerton Hotel and the finish line of the Padang. So yeah, still a few kilometres to go for the women. These 2 at this point, will they think that a charge towards the front group is still possible, or they'll be trying to consolidate 5th and 6th?
I think at this point you're staying calm and you're hoping someone comes back to you. So you might not be able to increase the pace, but you'll be thinking, can I hold this pace? And potentially someone in the front group can't, and then you can pick them up and just finish 1 spot higher than where you're at the moment.
What a difference a few minutes makes in terms of the light as well. It's not probably bright enough for the sun to be providing too much extra heat, but as we take a look at that, or maybe it is becoming 3 at this point.
Yeah, you almost cut her off there, Genemo, to get a drink, and she still didn't get one after all that. But you just got to be careful through these drink stations this late in the race. And early in the race they weren't really going for these cups of water, but now they're important. They want to cool down as much as possible, and it's a move through there. I think we're starting to lose Abdikir off the back there.
Yeah.
And it's a good perfect time to make a move through those drink stations as someone might be slowing down just as they're past 39k. So they're doing the math. They got less than 10 minutes to go. Put the foot down, get home.
Yeah, on the left there, one of the old Tanjung Pagar train stations that used to be able to take from Singapore across the border to Malaysia. And Genemo constantly looking at her watch. I got to say, of all the women in the elite field, she's the one who checks her watch the most.
Yeah, and that's probably just checking in, like giving herself some reinforcement that it's 9, it's 3k, whatever it is, just to be like, just you don't have to hang on for the whole 9 minutes, but let's look at your watch again in a minute's time, and then all of a sudden it's 8 minutes. So playing little tricks with your mind, just trying to separate this last section of the race, but 3 abreast across the road, like they all look good here. They all look strong. Good luck trying to pick a winner. And someone's now got to put another move on top of a move, because we've seen them make moves to get down to this final 3.
It might just be her running style, but it does look like Genemo's moving a lot more from side to side than Jepkorir and Chepkoech, who seem to be more upright in their running.
Yeah. I think it's more just her running style than it's her discomfort at this stage.
Right. There is number 30 who's currently sitting in 4th. That's Abdul Qadir. Who's not too far away. I know the pictures can sometimes be deceiving, but not too far away from the 3 up top. But Genemo looks like the most likely of the 3 to try and push for the lead, although, as I say that, she's overtaken by the number 29 Jepkorir. Again, just a reminder that between the top 3, the winner will receive $50,000 US, the second place finisher will receive $20,000 US, and the third place finisher $10,000. So between these 3, you're essentially fighting for $40,000.
You'd think that's probably on their mind as well at this stage, like a significant amount of money for your families, and when you're so close to it, you want to close this race down and take it.
Perhaps she might just be biding her time there, the number 34 bib Chepkoech, but it does seem like it is going to be between between Genemo and Jepkorir for perhaps the first place, because it's those 2 that are battling it out to stay at the very front of the pack. And there is your 4th place finisher as it stands, Abdul Qadir. And this was a lead group of 8, so we would expect there to be a group of 3 or 4 behind Abdul Qadir. Those who weren't able to keep up with the leading 3. But here we are then as they run past the MRT station on the left, Tanjung Pagar. We see some fans with signs and glow stick. It's always nice as you reach the final stages, a bit of extra motivation provided there. We've got the medical tents on the left, run by some of the 30,000 volunteers. And this is now the final stretch before turning left towards the Fullerton Hotel and the finish line, running past Capitol Tower there on the left. And these 3 are still running 3 abreast at this point.
Yeah, maybe half a step behind Faith Chepkoech now in bib 34, but yeah, she's around the low 31 10k, so closing the race out with speed might become a factor here for her. But here we go through another drink station very late in the race.
None of them really seem interested. Oh no, there we go, I'm proven wrong. Interestingly though, Jepkorir not tempted by the water at this stage.
And that could be like, I'm fine, I know I can get through the finish line, I know there's only a couple of minutes left here. These personalised drinks, and so this will be the 40k personalised drink, so we're into the last 2.2k here. For me, it's always like an emergency one. If I know I'm fine, I don't need to pick that up. I know the race is going to be over in 6 or 7 minutes. All three of
them are going for it.
And it's also that, and that's when you want to get that last bit of sugar. Maybe it's to rinse it around in your mouth, spit it back out. But
they've
all
dropped
thrown
to the
it
ground
very quickly there. So, yeah, personally, if I'm feeling good, I don't like ruining the stride and finish the race off. And that's where we're seeing a move made through there, which would be tactical. You go, if anyone's still with you at 40k at that trig station, put in a surge, because they may have had to change pace going through there.
Yeah, and if she's not careful, the number 29 bib Jepkorir is going to be left behind here, because it is Genemo and Chepkoech who are breaking away at just the right moment. So this looks like the battle for first. It's interesting when they went past the personalized drink stations. I got the impression that none of them wanted to take it, and then when one did, they all decided, all right, I'll take it too then.
Genemo off an PB last year as well, 2:21.35. We're speaking about her earlier in the call, that she's been racing marathons since she was 18, so started really early in her career. Winner of Vienna by 2016, so she had a great year in 2016, winning 2 big marathons.
That's the 41 kilometer mark that the front 3 have just gone past, so we are really in the business end of things as it stands. And of the 3, well, Genemo was in the lead, but coming through on the inside, it seems to be, is Chepkoech. So all 3, and Jepkorir is still keeping up with the front 2, very much in contention for first place as it stands.
Oh, here we go on the outside, a bit of a move.
It's a bit deceiving, isn't it? Because Chepkoech looks like she's in front, but between herself and Genemo, they're quite wide across the road.
It was interesting, she peeled out to the right to almost make a move, and then peeled back to the left to try to get in behind Genemo.
So you can see the Fulton Hotel there just rising on the left-hand side, so the finish line is very, very much in sight now. It's just a matter of turning left at the Fulton Hotel and finishing at the Padang. So
that's a gap.
That is a gap. It's funny, I thought the 3 Genemo would look the most uncomfortable, but I think it is just her running style.
She had a bit of a grimace on her face as well a couple of minutes ago, but that just shows how hard she's working. Like, she wants to win this race. She's putting the head down, bit of a grimace again on her face, bit of a rock from side to side, but at the moment it's working.
Yeah, she ran a 2:27.30 this year. She's looking at perhaps 2:41, 2:42 finish. She leaves the Fullerton Hotel behind her, and here we go towards the final stretch across the bridge and towards the finish line.
As we've seen with the men's, like a technical couple of twists and turns throughout the finish line. We thought that men's race was one and done, and it looked like it was getting a bit close to comfort. I was thinking, oh, this isn't going to be good, a bit closer than we thought it was going to be. So through this yellow fencing here, the motorbikes have peeled off as well. So they've been following motorbikes for the last 2 hours and 40 minutes, and now all of a sudden you're out there by yourself. Start getting the crowd around you as well.
So that is quite a gap now at the front for Shuko Genemo. It looks like she is going to cross the finish line first at this point. The line very much in her sight as she rounds the final hairpin.
And they've pulled back some time in the second half as well, similar to the men. Comfortable first half and then kicked it down for a big negative split.
Good job by the other 2 to keep up within this group at the front. But we saw the men a bit more split as they rounded the final straight. But here we go then, crossing the line in first for the women's Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon 2025. It is bib number 31, the gold label athlete Shuko Genemo. Here we go! And what a race that is from her. She's going to finish with a time of 2:41. Look championship needs to her.
What a feeling, breaking the tape of the Gold Label Marathon. She's exhausted, as they will be across the line. So get to the start as quickly as possible. Jepkorir in second place there, not far behind. It's going to be, we think, Chepkoech, their third spot. They made that a fantastic race. There've been some really fast ladies here today. And as we saw with the men, big down straight away. It's hot and humid. This is a challenging marathon. They've had a really good race. And I think taken about 3 or 4 minutes off their second half to come home in a big negative split there.
I do feel sorry for Kelly down at the finish line because obviously she's trying to grab these runners as they come across, but none of them look to be in a good state at all. So there's Abdul Deer coming home. He's still got a smile face. In fact, she's the only one standing.
The happiest person we've seen across the line today. Not even the winner. Good spirit there. I'd assume, yeah, there's Kitty White. The Wade becoming two as well. And that's the spot across the line. Now is 44 seconds unofficially.
Crossing the line, and they're all being given these lanyards just to make sure that everyone knows where they finish. Coming up now towards the finish line is number 27. That is Sharon Genemo.
5th last year, 5th this year.
There we go.
So 6. Not quite 5th. But a consistent performer at Singapore.
Yeah. Kelly was able to grab her at the start. We'll wait to see if Kelly can grab her at the end as well. And they're coming through in 7th is Erusio. So we had a leading group of 8 for quite a while, didn't we? So there is the 8th of the 8. And then we wait to see how far behind the rest of the women are at this point.
Well, the national men should be only a couple of minutes away, which I know a lot of people will be tuning in for. So